must meet in a battle. Hey guys, this is Rambos here, game 2 of the second weekly Gosu coaching tournament thingy grand finals between Slush and Tester. Slush is here, Orange Zerg at the 12 o'clock position on Lost Temple, and Tester is here, Blue Protoss at the 6 o'clock, so they're at cross positions. Last game was also played on Lost Temple, and if you haven't seen that, I'm going to spoil the crap out of it for you. Basically what happened was Slush didn't scout very well. I don't believe he actually scouted Tester's base for quite some time, and he got a very fast lair after throwing down a roach warren and getting like 2 roaches, and then he got hiders up just in time to deal with the void ray, and he was essentially forced into going hiders for the rest of the game because of the possibility of more void rays. And in the meantime, Tester just got out that relatively quick void ray and then threw down like 15, and by 15 I mean 3 more warp gates for a total of 4 pump gateway units. Got some very nice force fields, trapped about a third of Slush's army out, killed it, and then moved in and killed the other 2/3 very effectively. And there wasn't really anything that Slush could do about it. We do see that Slush is going to go ahead and go for, looks like a 14 pool again. We might actually see a 14 hatch here. He does have a drone moving out to his expo. Oh my gosh. We're probably going to see a 14 hatch. And in the meantime, Tester is getting a gateway down at his ramp, the most normal thing in the world. I think that was actually a 10 gate, so it's not the most normal thing in the world. It's a little bit early. Might have been an 11 gate or 12 gate. But point is, he's building a gateway kind of before 15-ish, which is really normal. And he's getting a Gauss on about 13, which is also really normal. And Tester, again, just freaking psychic, and he's got a probe in the right location because he scouted the wrong location first, and he's going to scout this hatchery, and he's throwing up a forge in his main. That's cool. He might actually just be going for a fast expand of his own, just throwing in a pylon and a couple of cannons just to protect it against some sort of early lings, and then get oh my gosh, pylon, cannon, no, forge not done yet. We are going to see cannons, and if we do check out these pylons, we can see that they're actually, look at those drones. These pylons just block the bottom of Slush's ramp. Slush can't even attack them effectively, just because you'd get like 3 drones on one and 2 drones on the other, and the cannon would finish morphing in before even one pylon went down, let alone both. Just because drones and so little real estate there. That is brilliant. So Slush is going to have to cancel this. Slush is going to be out 300 minerals for this hatchery. And he's going to get the minerals back, obviously, because he's going to cancel, and we do see that right there. The flesh chunks everywhere. But he wasn't able to use those 300 minerals on drones early. And if he had been able to do that, he would be in a much better position if he had been able to get drones earlier, or tech earlier, or really do anything earlier. And we can see right here that he's just sitting there dumbfounded for a little bit and not spending this massive surplus of money. And Tester's just walling him in. He's got the 2 pylons walling him in. He's got the cannon backing it up, which is just going to shred any frickin' Zerglings. And he's got a Zealot there too, just in case either of these pylons does indeed fall. And next one of these pylons is going to fall because Tester's getting bored and attacking with a cannon. Tester is adding on a Cyber Core, so nothing really interesting to talk about there yet. He's just unlocking further tech. He could be doing anything, and he's still blocking his ramp very effectively with a Zealot with the H key tapped. So Slush is going to have to work for a little bit more observation. Oh my gosh, Zealot coming in. There's 2 Zealots coming in for Slush, and Tester just has 2 Zealots coming in for Tester, and Slush just has these 4 Zerglings that are building. So 1 Zealot is going to go down, but this Queen is in very rough shape, and it looks like a second Zealot is going to have to get picked off by drones. So not the most damage in the world by Tester's Zealots right here, but unless this Queen dies, which would be terrible. My jaw's hanging open as I watch this. 4 health, and Tester's Zealot just gets bored and gets picked off by a bunch of lings that just got made by Slush. Slush has a billion frickin' lings. He could probably power down this pylon with those lings fairly easily. He would lose a few though, and I guess he's not choosing to, just because he doesn't know exactly what's around that cannon. He doesn't know if Tester has reinforced. Tester is producing a Stalker, so he's going to be able to drive off this Overlord. This Overlord does know that there's a core up for Tester. So I think what Slush is worried about is he's worried about more Void Rays, so he's going to go ahead and get a Hider down so he doesn't die to that. I think I would rather see him get another Queen and just get a bunch of Roaches and then push out. Just get one Queen so that the first Void Ray isn't able to kill you, and then push out with a bunch of Ground Forces. Just because you know that your opponent only has the one Gateway, because you've had the Overlord hanging out. But there are 3 Gateways coming up for Tester, so that window for Slush is just going to vanish right now. It's just going to be gone. And Hider range is coming up for Slush, which is good, but not the best thing against a bunch of Gateway units, as we saw last game. It enables Hiders to shoot over Force Field, and it prevents them from getting split as easily, but you can still get some really cool Force Fields off, and Hiders just die very, very easily to Zealots, especially after that HP nerf, when the Hiders are off creep and can't be microed. A little bit of a scout going on for Tester right there with that probe, but he did see the Zerglings and run away like a chicken, because he's not getting paid enough to deal with that. Warp Gate research is finally done for Tester, and he's going to have 4 Warp Gates coming in right now, and he does have a pylon right outside of Slush's base, right with that cannon, so he's going to be able to warp in whatever he feels like, right up there. No reinforced distance for him, no sir. And a bunch of sentries are actually just going to come up. Tester is really, really favoring these sentries, and I'm not really sure how much of that is him thinking, oh my gosh, sentries are awesome, and how much is him thinking, it looks like he is killing one of his own pylons again. A little bit of an interesting choice. No force field to block the ramp. I guess he thinks that he doesn't need it. Did look like he lost 2 sentries, 2 Hiders, and 2 sentries to Lings right there, and he's going to lose his pylon and lose his ability to reinforce. Slush needs to push out right frickin' now while that cannon's down. He's got more than enough Hiders to deal with those few sentries, and he really, really, really needs to push out, especially before those sentries start like perma-force fielding the ramp or something. But it does not look like he's going to do that. Instead, he's just going to sit back while Tester gets up that pylon. I do hope I'm not confusing the player names. For some reason in my head, I think I am. Slush is Zerg, Tester's Protoss if I have them. If I haven't, then I am sorry that... Force Fields! But they're going to be a little bit late, and Slush actually is not in the worst position right now. These Hiders are going to be able to snipe Slush's Tester's incoming reinforcements. Slush's Hiders are going to be able to snipe Tester's incoming reinforcements, and even though a bunch of Hiders die, he's able to put up a fair amount of damage on some of these Protoss units, so he's not in the worst situation in the world. He does need to get those down very quickly before those shields come up, even if that means sacrificing a couple of Hiders, I think. But maybe I'm just too aggressive player. Both players are reinforcing. There's a bunch of Hiders coming up for Slush right now. Tester is just warping in a couple more units. And that cannon did go down with that Hydra push. We can't see how dangerous force fields on the ramp are, even after the first few units have moved up, just because the ramp is such an effective choke point. That's probably why Slush is not listening to me psychically in the past, and staying up in his base right now, and choosing to defend it, and making a nice concave, and using this bottleneck to his advantage, instead of to Tester's advantage. We can see, though, that Tester, as soon as he has vision up there, is just able to force field and really eliminate any advantage that Slush should be getting. Slush is choosing to build a couple of drones right now, which I do not think is the best choice, even though he's dependent on economy. I'm just saying that blindly. But he's down 10 drones, which is not a good... He's down 6 drones, because he just built 4, which is not the best situation to be in. But keep in mind that Tester, what's up with that Slush? What's up with the Nidus Worm? You've got no vision. Tester, by the way, is making the Nidus Worm. He's got 1 overload out of his base. And other than that, he's got no vision. I mean, sure, he could like drop one right here, and go and build move Hiders up there. But as soon as Tester figured out what was going on, then Slush would just be screwed, because Tester would just move up into the base and force field the ramp defensively, which would be terrible. Oh my gosh! And Slush would have to move back to his Nidus and come out, and then he's got units coming out one by one of that Nidus Worm, and Tester could actually just force field all the way around it, and all these Hiders are dying. I don't think Slush is focusing fire. Look at the HP on these guys. I'm gonna go back and rewatch that. Because I was talking about Nidus Worms being stupid. For the duration of that battle, we can see that Nidus Worm coming up, that Nidus Worm that I do not agree with, and we do know that Tester is going to win this battle. Tester has 8 sentries, 8 stalkers, and 2 zealots versus 11 Hiders. And despite the fact that Hiders are very effective against sentries, especially with the zealots tanking that damage. Look at how many Hydra shots it's taking for those zealots to die. A little bit of interesting micro by Tester going on right there. Tester choosing to go for an Overlord instead. But these Hydras are just getting burned down so quickly. And there's not really that many of them when you compare them to the massive numbers of Sentries and Stalkers, and even more Zealots did get warped in right there to completely seal the deal for Slush. Slush is out of the game. Slush has no combat units. So Tester does win Game 2. He's up 2-0 going into Game 3. This is a best of 5. Game 3 is going to be on Desert Oasis. Please stay